Okay, next step of the process. So we mixed this up, remember, shaggy dough, and then we let it sit while we had lunch. It's probably been sitting an hour, not 30 minutes, but it doesn't matter too much. So now we're adding the salt. The reason we don't add the salt right away is because I can't remember, but there's a reason. And so I'm gonna sprinkle this salt on top now, because now we're gonna kind of incorporate this salt. Remember, this is 2 loaves. And I'm gonna get my hand wet, that way it kind of helps to incorporate the salt. And we're just gonna kind of get it all into here. So now it's just a matter of mixing in that salt. So I'm kind of just poking it for now, getting it in there. And then we're basically just gonna knead it. So we're gonna kind of take it like this and we're gonna bring it over, okay? And take it like this from the edge and stretch it and fold it. Okay, and we're gonna just do this until I feel like the salt is mixed through. So I'm probably gonna do this for about 5 minutes, and it will also strengthen the dough. See how it's still kind of shaggy? We'll come back after 5 minutes and I'll show you kind of what it looks like once I think the salt is incorporated. So. Okay, so I think the last thing you saw was kind of our shaggy dough right after mixing our salt in. We did some stretch and folds. So I have done 2 more of this method since then, and it's based on the recipe. So I'm wetting my hands just a little bit so the dough doesn't stick to me, because it is still sticky. So I'm taking half the side here, and I'm just gently stretching and folding it over, just like that. And I'm turning. This is where it's nice to use a heavy bowl so that you can kind of pull away from the weight of the bowl, because the dough is sticking kind of to the bowl. You're using it as resistance. And then it's folding it over. So this is the 3rd side. It's like doing it to a clock at 12, 3, 6, and 9. Except we're turning it up to 12 every time. By now, I can feel the tightness of the dough, but I still have 1 more side to stretch. And I'm gonna kind of grab from underneath a little bit. Pull it up and over. And then if I can, as it progresses, I like to kind of fold that just underneath, and I get a nice top here. Now I have another bowl right here to do. A bigger bowl, same amount of, so we're gonna take this and I kind of loosen the edge and underneath, and I pull it and stretch it, lay it over, we turn, just hold it, no, don't turn it like that, it doesn't work, turn it normal, thank you. And then this is my 2nd side. Oh, this dough feels nice. And my 3rd side. See, my 4th side is still sticking to the bowl over here. So kind of loosen that up and loosen up underneath. And stretch that over. And then I'm gonna loosen here and kind of pick up and just, okay? You want to be careful with it because we're starting to get, the air in it. That's what we want. But we're also wanting to try and get it a little less sticky. We're helping form its gluten and structure. Then we'll let it sit for 45 minutes and I'll do this again. Okay, so we're going to do another stretch and fold. I'm just wetting my hands again so they don't stick. I'm going to get this away from the edge of the bowl, and we're just being really gentle with it because we don't want to knock out all this air we are creating and that the dough is doing the work on. So kind of tuck that in, turn. This is probably my 5th stretch and fold now. This will probably be the last one I do before the next step. So see, this sourdough is a labor of love, and I love it. Okay, 1 more side. be sure and get it all up. And then I'm gonna actually kind of lift this and go ahead and fold it over and under. Okay, then we got our big bowl next. I have to cover it with a trash bag because it's so big. Because my bowl is so big. My mother-in-law gave me this bowl a couple years ago and I just love it. Okay, so we're just gonna kind of grab underneath and stretch and fold. Just gently fold it over. So again, remember this is a double batch. So when I get to the next step, I'll actually be turning this into two loaves out of this bowl and 2 loaves out of the other bowl. And I think we're gonna do maybe some cinnamon raisin and maybe some garlic herb. And then we'll have 2 plain loaves. And we have a super secret one that we're gonna do. So, okay, there we go. That's the last time I'll do that. So I dumped my last double batch out. I've already gotten one in the Banneton, but I wanted to show you how nice this dough is. So I'm just gonna pat it out just a little bit and just kind of fold it onto itself. Kind of using this to help me. Okay. It's kind of sticky, you just have to be patient with it, but oh, the first one was nicer than this one. Okay. See, I'm working with it, trying to scoop all that sticky underneath and get a nice, see, there we go. Just gotta have patience. Get a nice tension on top of the loaf. And I've already floured my Banneton, so then we're just gonna go whoop, upside down. We're gonna call what zipper the top, kind of just pinch it together for what it's worth. And then I'm gonna go ahead and put it inside a bag and put it in the fridge overnight. We'll bake in the morning. Okay, I just took this out of the fridge. It was in the fridge overnight. And I'm gonna sprinkle a little bit more rice flour on top of here, just so it kind of doesn't stick to the, I don't know why, to the bottom of the parchment. Yep, but then I flip this parchment over and I do like this, and then we flip. These are new Bannetons, so they don't have a lot of flour on them yet, but that one pulled away pretty nicely. So these Bannetons are a little bit taller and a little bit smaller than my other ones, so they kind of help create maybe a little bit taller loaf. But then I put a little bit more brown rice sugar on, brown rice flour on top. Okay, because we want to make a design. I think we'll do, I did a kind of a wheat design on this one. And then I think on this one, so I just hold this really thin razor blade. I think I'll do a Christmas tree on this one. So we got to give the loaf a place to expand. So that's why you do these outer cuts so that it can expand and not ruin your design. And then we'll do a tree. So we're not going to cut quite as deep. And we're going to go across here. And we're going to do that. And then let's see, we're just going to kind of these designs, you'll see how these designs look once it's baked. Let's do a little piece across there. So I think that's about all we're gonna do, and we'll see how it turns out. And then we'll stick them in the oven in just a minute. I'll show you that too. Okay, so we're gonna get these puppies out of here. They are hot, hot, hot. You see I have my hot pads doubled over even. So we're gonna get them both out. My oven has been at 500 degrees for like 20 minutes because we want everything really hot. So I get them both out and I take their lids off because we're gonna put our bread down in them. Okay, so I'm putting these breads down in here. I kind of just make sure the paper is not on the design, and I put the lid on each one as I do it. That way it can start doing its thing right away. Okay, let me bring this one over. Set that right down in there. Scoot it over. Just don't touch the pot. It is so hot. Okay, then we put the lid on. I try and get the paper inside, otherwise it kind of burns. Okay, and then we open up the oven and just like be super careful. Put this back in. And that's it now for 20 minutes. Turn this down to 420, 450. Oopsie. Sarah, you can turn it off. Okay, so they've been in here baking for 20 minutes, and I'm just going to take their lids off so that they can get golden now. So you can see their design has expanded, but now now is where we get the color on them. So 20 more minutes, just like this. Okay, and here they are out of the oven. So see how my edge cuts expanded? Of course, so did these, but it kind of helps this not to distort. You can see it here where, you know, my deeper cuts did expand, but my bread expanded and broke open around that edge cut right where I wanted it to, so that it wouldn't just break open where I didn't want it. So one of these hot loaves is going to a neighbor right now. Thanks for watching along.